All right, not gonna need a couple of days. What's up, y'all? I'm Jared.
I am Josh. Good to be here, my brother.
We're getting over this Rumble weekend
the quickest way possible.
Come on. What's going on?
Very, very little, man. Just a bunch of wrestling and a bunch of alternate selections available on this year's YouTube channel. Yeah, man.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man.
Well, man, I wrote out to let's become a little bit of a tradition of going to the Days of the Dead convention, which is, you know, fine and good if that's what you're into. But the good thing about that convention is not only do the type of people that go to the horror conventions and the comic book conventions are kind of a wrestling crowd. I think the people that straight up run it are wrestling fans anyway. They're like, listen, we don't care if you like it or not. They made a point of having guys there every year. 2 years ago it was like Flair and Steamboat. Last year it was
the rivalry.
Yeah. Last year it was Michaels, and one of the last times I saw Mean Gene was there.
Oh yeah.
And then this year it was Chris Jericho. It was even over enough to be in the big celebrity room, and Hall and Nash were there. I think they've been there before, but it was one of those moments like, well, this is time. This is the year to do it. So went and sat in their line, which really wasn't. I got the Jericho stuff out of the way just because I knew that was going to be that line just got mobbed.
That's Dominique.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I understand totally.
And well, oddly enough, it was there was a pretty big. They had a Hellraiser reunion going on. There was some of the cast from the first Halloween movie was there, and then your Sid Haigs and Bill Mosleys of the world were there, and Kane Hodder's were there. So I mean, it's just a fun convention to go to. It's at the Sheridan every year. Around February. February, first week in February, last weekend in January, whenever it happens to fall, is usually when they do it.
Whenever the Super Bowl's here.
So that was tons of fun. That's really pretty much walking around the convention. I got mistaken for Dan Fogler again, so that was fun. I got to shout out. I believe his name was Jacob. If you need to see the face, he's in a clip of a video that I put up, like walking out of the room. It's like him and his friend into the toboggan and him with the dark hair. That's who I'm talking about. There's no way he'll ever see this, but that doesn't matter. Get to have a cool conversation with them in one of the rooms about, like, has anyone ever told you look like the Walking Dead guy? Like, yeah. But the better movie is Fanboy, so go watch that. And then I'm joking with him and his girlfriend about how there's going to be a day when it will be me, Dan Fogler, and Jack Black playing brothers in a movie, and then they're like, the girlfriend's like, well, I don't see the Jack Black. I was like, well, I'm done talking to you.
You're not looking too hard then, are you?
Now, one of these days, Fogler will be at Walker Stalker or one of those conventions. I'll have to get that photo with him just to prove I'm not him, and I can hold it up. See? I told you.
It's either like the people in the room that see the two of you together will be convinced that space-time has just ended and they'll get Thanos, and then people that you show the picture to will go Temple of Doom or Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It'll be like Time Cop, like there's alternate realities. Don't touch each other.
Exactly, man. Be careful.
Water.
Oh God!
I told you.
I told not to do that.
So, man, I don't know. That stuff's just fun to go to for me, and I can't explain it. It's just, it's not just the horror stuff. For some reason, this year more than any other year, I think because she was a late edition, but every 10 feet on the walls of the Sheridan Hotel, they had to let you know that Linda Blair was in this ballroom. But we know.
It's all arrows.
we get it. Nobody else. That's part of the mission of once you get there, you get scanned in, you get your little wristband and all that stuff. Once that nervous breakdown is over, then it's, well, where is the person that I got to go see at first? Which one of the ballrooms are they in? and nobody that works there could tell you like, It's set this year. Everybody knew where Linda Blair was, so good. So thanks for that.
Man, I'm looking for Chris Jericho. Where's Chris Jericho? Oh, Linda Blair Chico over this way.
Linda Blair, go on. Don't touch the table yet. She ain't there. I told you once.
Be careful now.
It's just one of those conventions that I've always liked, and have kept going back to. Walker Stalker's hit or miss. Dragon Con's definitely hit or miss. I mean, it's more often than not, there's somebody there I'd like to go see. It's just like, is it worth going and dealing with that crowd? Probably. But the Days of the Dead is manageable. It's a big crowd, but it's nowhere near the headache that some of them are. You can get in and out. That's one reason why, I just kind of get in there. I kind of look around at some of the tables. There's some awesome artists there. There's some people selling old toys, but I'm so picky. I must have the finest paint application, and I must have all the accessories. And if you don't have them, then I'm not giving you anything for it. I'm just that way. But it's still fun to go shop around and see what there is to see at the horror show.
Yeah, the conventions that aren't Dragon Con, one of the big pluses that those have is there's not like prerequisite. Is too strong to say, but if you're going to Dragon Con and not getting a room, it is not the same experience as if you are. It's more like a vacation than a convention. Yeah. You don't just go for one day and do stuff. You are staying there. You're close. You can walk everywhere because you have to do that anyway. Yeah. It's quite fun that way, but at the same time, I don't think, as far as we've talked about it, man, and I haven't been in 2 years, and I don't know if I'll ever go again or not because I just despise hot weather so much. I just don't know if I can do it. I might do it again, but
Dragon Con's Labor Day.
Yeah, it's
and Labor Day down here is like,
God,
man, with as much walking as you have to do, because Days of the Dead, I mean, you're at the Sheridan. Yeah, it's like you're confined. It's all there. You know where you're gonna be, and if you can't find it, if you look around enough, you're gonna find what you're looking for. Dragon Con, I mean, you're going over city blocks and several hotels.
They take over.
It'll wear you out.
And there's a bajillion people there too, because man, that is the weekend in Atlanta where, man, it just starts jumping off. People are all about it, man. College football gets started, then the Braves are still playing, and they're always in town too. But I mean, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. But that one that's the different thing there, man. Like even with like the comic book conventions that we'll go to that are more like straight up comic conventions, those are fun. You go in, you walk around, you shop, talk to people. Get to meet Raven one real cool time.
Oh, rock and roll.
That was awesome, man. And I was like 6 feet from Lita at one of them one time, but I was on my way out the door, and she was setting her table up. And I don't know, man. I probably should have said hey, but it seemed like an interruptive time. And I don't know if I was looking to buy something, if I wanted if I was in a position, if I was going to pay Lita for like money or for something she was selling, it'd have been different. Yeah. But I was walking out the door, she was working, it just felt better just take this in and say, that was cool, I was standing next to Lita, and then go.
Yeah. They put off the vibes of when it's cool to come up and say howdy and when it's not. And that's something that you'll get down. Yeah, going to that stuff.
I had that moment one time, not the most recent time, most recent Ring of Honor show in Atlanta I did not go to, which I really do feel heelish about because I hate that the first non-elite show was the one I didn't go to, when in reality I couldn't possibly care less about that. That's not fair. I like those guys. It's just that I'm excited about. There's certain there are Ring of Honor things I'm excited about, and I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. And again, like we said, man, if you're going because of who they stuff in the out front, that's cool, but that's not it. The Briscoes defended the tag titles. I probably should have gone just to say I went for that because those are my boys. But I had a moment like that with Bully Ray one time, man, because he's just out signing autographs, doing his thing, and I was just like standing in line. I got to get water for the group, and I'm just standing in line, and I like look over at him, and he looks back at me, and we just kind of have one of those. And he gave me one back, and that was it. It's just like, yeah, I see you, man. It's good to see you, man. And it stunk because I've got my Bubba Ray Dudley story locked and loaded. We've talked about it before, man. Like. One of the best matches either one of us has ever seen live. Oh, yeah. He was in it, and it was awesome, man. That's one of my favorite things ever. But even so, it's like you said, and it wasn't like a vibe thing. He was in line with people, and it's all like you don't want to jump in and mess up the paying customers, so let them just do that. But that was kind of cool. But Lita had absolutely no idea I was even there. She was working. she was busy doing her, getting her stuff in. I tried to clean it up there real quick. She's getting her Bubba Ray on, man. She's late to go get her stuff in. Oh yeah, man. But I'm with you. The Dragon Con thing is it's such a commitment, and then like the one day stuff where you can just go and walk around. Part of I think maybe that this is something they have in common. You can tell me if this is correct or not. One of my favorite things about Dragon Con is everybody is there because they want to be there.
Oh yeah.
Just good mood, man. Everybody's got, there's just a great energy, and people are just really feeling good. So what you're talking about, especially with fan bases like that are, man, they're into that. Horror fans love horror stuff. So man, everybody gets together in a good mood. That's a fun place to be. That's awesome.
If you want to do it, man, you can do the whole weekend, because that starts like Friday evening. Saturday, like at most conventions, is the busy day when the
busy day.
And and that's why I'm kind of picky and check out the guest list, and because there's a lot of people that's the day they're there. But for the most part, most guys will be there through Sunday, and it's definitely one to go check out, and they tour them now. It's not just Atlanta. I think they do Charlotte, Vegas, Los Angeles. I want to say Indianapolis, and somewhere else I'm forgetting. But they about once a quarter you can go check in with them.
That's cool, man.
So they're getting to the next level. So to say that they're not on the level of Dragon Con, well, they do several years. So I think it does put them on that level. So I went and did that, and that was tons of fun. It's one of those kind of videos you put together, and you realize it's kind of short. Like, I don't care. It's like you got the best of my visit, just from because I'm not going to walk up and talk to people and just be like, hey, can I put you in a video? No, I'm not going to do that. But it's not like I walk up and talk to very many people in the first place. So anyway, I thought that would be kind of a fun story to. And that's the best part of kind of what you're talking about, is there's no real crap story to tell. Oh, this guy was this or that. I mean, everybody was kind of in a good mood and cool.
That's the best, man.
And getting it in.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's like I'm with you. I've never had a bad experience at all. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess the one bad experience I had at Dragon Con is I jacked my hand up on this thing, and I had to fight this kooky infection forever. But it worked. That worked out okay. Cool. And that wasn't people involved. Everybody I talked to was great. So that part was always cool. Yeah. But I don't know. Con is weird because there are things about it I miss. There are things about it I don't miss. But as far as getting in line, buying stuff, I don't do that anyway, man. It's pretty much it's an excuse to drink all day and then walk around Atlanta.
Never a bad time.
It's cool. You walk around Atlanta at night and you're drunk talking to other comic book fans. It's pretty cool. That's the part that's my warm and fuzzy about Dragon Con.
There's going to be a lot of walking around for me and a lot of people this weekend because it's Super Bowl in Atlanta.
Yeah, baby.
Thursday's going to be my busy day. One of the things I'm looking forward to is one of the things I always said I would do when the Super Bowl was in Atlanta again, and I threw the dice into the ring to get a ticket, and I got a ticket to see the Dan Patrick Show.
Oh, Danny P.
It looked up, and now I guess I got to figure out, and I've got it down to where to get to. I just assumed that they would all do the show from the Congress Center. They're not going to do that. They've got a studio set up at Turner that they're going to use, and I've Googled it, and you can get there from Midtown on the MARTA, but Midtown at that early in the morning, I'm like, maybe the sun will be up enough to where I can walk around and not get shot. But we'll see. So if that video comes out, then I made it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those deals where you have no idea what to expect. I'm gonna go down and see what's up, so I'll get to do that as part of my Super Bowl festivities.
Yeah, man.
And then
Be careful, because Ray's back in town.
oh Lord,
I just find that absolutely hilarious that the idea of Janet Jackson being at the Super Bowl show last year with Justin Timberlake is. Hold on now.
I don't know what that
We're
is.
not going to do anything controversial. You be careful now. But we're having a Super Bowl party presented by ESPN that Ray Lewis is hosting. I'm like, oh, okay.
Good times. Good
All
times.
right,
It went so well last time.
It certainly did, because Ray Lewis and Atlanta have no connotation whatsoever. That's real smart, guys. Why don't you invite Mike Vick over, see if that works.
Well, he's going to be at the celebrity football game. So
There we have it.
oh,
By the way, this is something interesting. I little Bud Light pre-concert doohickey thing.
oh God, yeah.
Boy, you tell me there isn't. Every single performer on that bill would have made more sense than who they actually booked.
Yeah.
I just thought,
Yeah.
man, that's ridiculous, man.
And that's, there's going to be so much crap going on. And just about any artist you can imagine is supposed to be somewhere downtown.
It's like WrestleMania weekend,
Yeah.
where all the indie shows show up to.
And that's part of like, man, if you're going to be out and about in Atlanta, I mean, carry a Sharpie with you. There's no telling who you're liable to meet. I just, that was one of the things that I just like, what's the one thing you would like to do Super Bowl weekend? And I'm including going to the game.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'll go check out that show, and I'm gonna get to go see it. And I don't know what you get a weird set of rules when you go see a live tape. And I mean, some odd stuff. I mean, some of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory that you would expect, like no overly logoed wear. It's no all white. I guess it just doesn't look good on camera. No political crap, stuff like that.
The all white people can.
Photoshop
It's,
something.
yeah,
on top
it's
of
so
it?
much easier to
Okay.
Photoshop crap on top of you.
Okay, put a nice swastika on
Yeah,
top of it.
exactly, man.
Okay. So, and then, and another thing too, I was nervous about going down to Turner Studios is having no idea what the parking situation is going to be. When Ted Turner owned Turner, I mean, he was known for even charging his employees to park. So you're not going to get down there and park for free. That's why I'll be martyring it, and I always get it mapped out. Just fingers crossed. And there's some other stuff I'm thinking about going to later that night that I it's kind of like maybe not, but I'll wait and see about that. And then all kind of stuff going on this weekend. There's like these concerts starting Thursday night at the Allstate Arena, all through the weekend, and so anyway, tons of Super Bowl fun will be had. So I'm looking forward to that. But talk about the Rumble.
Yeah, well, while you're downtown having fun, just yell about every 3 blocks or so. Just yell, "The Saints was robbed!"
Oh
You'll have you a real good time.
They should restart the game.
Hey, man, I'm here to tell you, as long as the Patriots are in, who cares? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. They're gonna find a way to get who they want in there.
Well, I got it. I asked the man earlier, and I will ask our viewing public and see what you think. I understand everyone's all mad about the pass interference call the wrong teams in the Super Bowl, but that roughing the passer call against Kansas City didn't bother you equally. I mean, they are both horrifyingly terrible calls. But I don't know why anybody cares anyway. Now, I guess the reason I care is because I am just very, very tired of the juxtaposition of, what's capitalism, man, free market. The free market, man, the market will tell you, man, entertainment, you got to entertain the people, man, you got the people what they want. But then you don't. You go as far out of your way to, like we talk about Vince just digging his heels in and doing whatever the hell he wants to. And now the NFL does that too. Because, again, maybe it's from growing up a wrestling kid, but I do not believe that competition in anything you see is real. I mean, even, and it stinks because there's nowhere you can go. Because normally, if you would just scale it back, well, just watch 1AA football, watch women's basketball. You could do that, but the problem is with the officiating crews in lower divisions, it's go to a high school football game sometime. You will see corrupt officiating because it's a lot easier to get to the people to buy it off. So none of it matters. Unless you are shooting hoops in your backyard, playing one-on-one with your bud, and you accept full-heartedly when you get beat, there's no competition. It's all entertainment. And that being the case, Rams Chiefs, they already did the preview earlier. We talked about it, man. That being the Super Bowl preview would be awesome. But having to serve up the youngsters for Brady to pick off on his way to another ring. And that, I don't know what they're going to do in the Super Bowl. I really don't care, and I'm not going to find out. But the upside is it's in Atlanta, and I'm glad Atlanta got the Super Bowl again. Also, I'm glad Atlanta got the Super Bowl primarily because I think that if y'all have seen the show, you know I've got tons of conspiracy theories about why Arthur Blank is as hated as he is, and I'm about to give you a big one. He did not build that stadium for Super Bowls. He didn't. Atlanta having anything, if it was covered, they were going to get a Super Bowl. It was just built. It was basically the league holding Atlanta hostage and saying like, well, you're going to have, we can't go to the Dome no more. We're going to need a new stadium. Can't use it. Georgia Dome, no good. Ain't no good. So Arthur builds the new stadium. It's like, well, hey, you can have your Super Bowl now. That's not at all what he built that for. He built that for 2026, and it worked. It worked. So I know the Super Bowl is a big deal, but for Pete's sake, man, if you get any World Cup cut, you'll see what cash is then, man. But the other positive thing is that I think I don't think Atlanta will be in the running for the final because I think the new LA stadium will be open by then. And putting the final in New York or Los Angeles makes sense. They did. I'm pretty sure it was at the, for Pete's sake, I want to say it was the Rose Bowl the last time they were here, so they can keep the tradition of the World Cup final being in California. That's totally cool. And then go to the new LA stadium. But Atlanta, I was just thinking we would get group stage matches and stuff like that, but I've seen it that we're up for like a semifinal, which would be unbelievable, man.
Yeah, man.
But
B-Niners.
between the airport and the stadium, why the heck not?
It's built for that.
Easiest place to get in and out of, and probably, I don't know, it's pretty easy though. I mean, Hartsfield is a monster, but it's not too bad.
Doable.
Not too bad. And everything comes to Atlanta, so you can get there, but that part's awesome. So wherever you have to go, like 4 winds scattered, wherever your team winds up playing all over this gigantic, monstrous country we live in, you can get back to Atlanta for the semifinal if you need to, and that's super positive. And I can't wait for that, especially considering how many kids are in the pipe right now. And I mean, Christian Pulisic is probably the biggest name in American soccer, and Chelsea over in London just bought him for $1 bajillion. And the thing is, I think Pulisic just turned 20. Basically, he's going to be like 26, 27, right in time for that World Cup. And 27 is the athletic, the age of peak athleticism in males of the human species. So it's just awesome. It's like cool. Like the poster boy will be in his prime, right in time to have it here in America. That's great. Let's do it. It's awesome, man. And somebody named Arthur Blank was smart enough to. He was smart enough to look at the numbers, man. I'm excited about that. So yeah, let's do the Super Bowl, and we'll probably have another one between now and the World Cup. But I can't wait. That's gonna be so cool, man. But we mentioned Vince digging his heels in to the Rumble.
Yet again.
Yeah, to the Rumble.
So, I mean, all in all, I gotta say, I mean, it's been one of the better shows recently, but there's a few things that they decided to do. You kind of, what was the point of that?
Yeah, I agree.
Why would you do this?
I agree.
You kick off the show with Becky Lynch and Asuka, and that was kind of the sentiment that I think a lot of people had. Whichever person loses this will end up in the Rumble, which
made total sense for Asuka to retain because the emotional pop, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. So you got that going for you. And then I guess it makes sense to talk about Becky coming in to the Rumble when she did. It just, I thought they were going to do the Davey Boy Lex Luger finish and just have both of them go over, feet, touch, identical. But then they don't even do that. And another thing, there was a lot of ladies just flailing over the top rope to not be eliminated. Like that was done like
that really
3 and 4 times a screenshot.
When you're gonna have 2 battle royals on the card, and you're gonna see that all night. Yeah. There were some people that, in order to check the box of letting them get their stuff in, that's what they considered letting them get it in. And it's like, man, this is way overdone. I agree. Yeah. It really got old, man.
Heck yeah.
And then when the dudes come out and start doing the same thing, it's like, but you knew they would. Between the 2 of them, you're going to see that spot 10,000 freaking times. And it's just like, darn, I wish we'd come up with something different, man.
But, I mean, But that being said, I loved the Becky Lynch and Asuka match. I dug it.
Yeah, it was.
I had tons of fun watching it.
It was really cool. We were discussing, man, how I don't think that first time in WWE women's history, it doesn't always need to be stipulations.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And I liked the Benoit Angle style. You counter this submission with that submission, and you counter with this, and then you wind up countering using each other's main submission. I love stuff like that, especially that we talked about, especially with what Ronda and Sasha were going to do later, with Ronda winning by a pinfall. Those two things together, we talk about it a bunch, man, where people love to talk about, well, the thing with the NXT women is they let them get in there and script the matches. So Randy Savage did that, and y'all all kiss his butt. B, maybe you should do more of that. Like getting together, getting on the same page and discussing, hey, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. It's called building a card. Yeah. And it's really, really cool. The other super positive thing I thought about Sasha and Ronda is now, man, Iron Woman for the rematch. It's fantastic. I would not have thought of it until they did it the way they did it, where you've got two people whose primary finish is a submission, and then you end it in a pinfall. And you handed the submissions off to the other two. It was cool. I thought it was very, very cool. I liked the two of them together. Thought it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I jumped way ahead to the Ronda match, but they go together, and it was cool.
I think everybody did and will when they watch this back, because when the second match is Shane and Miz versus
my God, I did forget
Cesaro and Sheamus. Like, that's the lucky pizza's in here.
Yeah,
match.
Seriously, man. Let's go get some grubbage.
So eight during that. It's kind of skip that one. I just don't care.
I'm with you. I'm pretty sure.
I like the guys in that match except for Shane. I just like, man, just don't care about anything that's going on with this.
Yeah, my thing is, if you've ever seen the show before, you'll already know this, and if not, I will try and make it quick for the first time ever. Mike Mizanin, Alexa Bliss, Shane McMahon, Randy Orton. My opinions on those four people are well documented. I shouldn't say documented. I talk about it too much is what I do. So you put Shane and Miz together, I'm like,
now doubly don't care.
Where's that food? Where's that food? The only thing I was interested in is, let's see how... basically, I wanted to see Cesaro add to his resume of... No, literally. Seriously, I can make anybody look good. I'm serious. Anybody. It doesn't matter. I can make them all look good. And he did, and it was cool. It was cool. But, I'm not going to... I fussed about... There was a certain spot in that match that was the big spinny Hasei move. That was I enjoyed that spot for about 3 seconds, and then my new trend in wrestling that just drives me nuts is people just shaking stuff off that they shouldn't. I mean, the guy gets spun around 22 times and then jumps up immediately and he's back on offense. It just makes me absolutely nuts. I hate it. I just can't stand it, man, because I've just heard endlessly about, well, the problem with Japanese wrestlers, I don't sell nothing in Japan, I don't sell nothing. And you're right. You do get a lot of like super hulked up firefight, boom, 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 and guys just kill each other with these huge moves. And yet somehow Hanson jumps up anyway and clotheslines the crap out of him. But you know what he doesn't do? Is then prance around the ring with his chest stuck out. He doesn't go for the pinfall immediately. It's a wipeout spot. Yeah. You can get away with that adrenaline stuff if you finish it off with a wipeout spot and let us all sit back and clap. But whenever you go immediately like, oh, Shane's back on the warpath and he's doing his little dance again, that makes me bananas. I hate it. But I hate him, so maybe I'm biased.
So that gets you straight into the Shotzi Ronda match. Might as well be. Yeah. And man, it was one of those matches where I was like, fine. When will that rematch be? Will it be Elimination Chamber or some other time? For some reason I get this idea that, well, Mania's right after Rumble, and it's not, but we still got a ways to go.
I think it's because of the way we talked about this during the show multiple times.
Well,
the way
advertised.
It's constantly gonna get a title match at WrestleMania, which never happens. Yeah. Winning the Royal Rumble doesn't guarantee the main event of WrestleMania anymore. When's the last time it ever got you there?
Yeah.
But that's part of it, is they're presented as like their, sister shows, and they're back to back, and it's like, man, you're right. There's really there's a hot minute. There's at least 2 pay-per-views, I think, between now. There's 1, definitely.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of I mean, if you really wanted to go buck wild, you've got your Elimination Chamber stuff, which we've talked about on the show before. We'll bring it up again for the new folks. Hey, if there's new people, hey, how y'all doing? Neither one of us is a particular fan of the Elimination Chamber. I point blank despise it. I hate the Elimination Chamber. I think it's dumb. It's just not my thing.
Just making it a staple.
All the
every year,
time.
it's like, man, just come up with something else.
It's not my thing, man. Particularly when NXT's doing War Games again, which is totally where you rip the concept off from anyway. So it's like, this is dumb. I don't like Elimination Chamber because I don't like things that, like sets and stipulations that are specifically made for television make me crazy, because if you're not performing for the audience and the crowd, it looks different.
Yeah.
It just does. And I get 48,000 people, you can't perform for the people in the crowd. And the biggest thing you'll notice, for the biggest difference anyway, between arenas where the crowd is being performed to and WWE shows is when you see signs go up all the time, over and over again, because they don't give a they don't care if you can see or not. So that's not what it's about. Anyway, the Elimination Chamber is hard to shoot, and it's hard to show off anything that's worthwhile. And also, I mean, anymore, it's just like, okay, climb up on the pod and jump off it, because that's all anybody does now, and it's like, this is dumb. Anyway, but I'm hoping that an Iron Woman match, that'd be cool. But I guess my point was going to be that aside from the Elimination Chamber, I know you'll get some other dude match on there, but you can go really heavy with the women's card if you want to. If you have Sasha and Ronda, for Pete's sake. 30-minute Iron Woman match, you're going to have the tag match, which I do hope is the Iconics. I don't mean to keep putting off Bayley and Sasha. I hope Bayley and Sasha win them at WrestleMania. But that was one of the things also about Sasha and Ronda, man, is it's so nice. And for me, I'm very, very happy to see Sasha Banks given a forum again, because Sasha is pretty doggone good. I think Becky's better. I've always thought Becky was better. Because that's the thing. Now, anytime you say you think Becky's better, oh, Becky Lynch is the hot thing right now, but it's like, nah, man. Becky Lynch has always been, of those 4 women, she's always been my favorite. I think Charlotte's the best. But I think Bayley and Sasha are incredibly underrated. I was very happy, by the way, if anybody that went to the Royal Rumble is watching this show by some chance, good on y'all for getting behind Bayley the way you did. Because I think the way that Bayley is portrayed is not at all what it's like. It's just not the way people think. Bayley's a much better character than people think. She's a damn better worker than people think she is. But again, I mean, she's the only one that hadn't gotten her Bliss mojo back, and I'm hoping that maybe they can do that for her eventually, maybe with the tag run, maybe with the tag belts. But I do hope the Iconics win them first, just because that would be totally awesome.
Yeah, man. So, and now it's kind of it's still up in there, like, well, what's going to happen. So, you get to the Women's Royal Rumble match, and it ends the way it did, with Becky kind of coming in, taking the spot of worthless Lana.
Yeah, Nakamura got Lana killed in the U.S. title match, so she couldn't go, and so Becky gets the spot. And
it's something that nobody has ever been able to do. I guess never thought to do. Like, well, go out there and try to take a spot, and Fit Finlay will be like, okay.
Hi, okay, well, fine. You're over. You're a big deal.
Fine.
I'm fit.
Bye-bye.
I'm the editor. Nah, it was cool, man. The Women's Rumble in general I thought was cool, except for, I'm with you, too much acrobatics on the apron. And I don't think, there was only there were 2 eliminations in the main Royal Rumble that just ticked me off, man. I don't think the women really had any that were like that, though. I think for the most part I was okay. I thought that playing up heel Charlotte she's just so good. I know that most people want to see a heel turn for Sasha, and I agree, because, man, her in-ring work is the same regardless. Her stick work sucks as a babyface, but most people do. I mean, that junk they hand them to talk about, it's hard to, you can't really cut a good promo when it's...
I need cricket wireless coverage from my butt.
It's bad, man. I just think that, I think they should all be heels anyway, because heel and babyface don't mean what it used to anyhow. But I don't know. It was just nice to see her have a good match again. That was really cool, because she is good, and Ronda's incredibly, she's so much better. I'm so impressed every time I see her. that it was good to see that. And I think that's real cool. Because again, this whole like, well, the 4 Horsewomen were yesterday, let's bypass it. Are you kidding me? Do you realize the age of Becky and Sasha and Charlotte and Bayley? Stop. That's ridiculous, man. But I enjoyed the crap out of that match.
So, then you had Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, and it was another one of those endings where it's kind of like, I know I haven't been watching this faithfully as some people have, but like, when has Eric Rowan been back at all?
Yeah.
And why would you have him walk from the back out to just kind of stand there and just face slam somebody? Why not just have him come from the crowd and let it be kind of a surprise kind of deal?
I wasn't sure what was going on there. And I get that it's, well, the finish is to protect AJ, but I'm just, between Ghetto and Vince McMahon, I've had about as enough outside interference as I can get. But the thing is that up to that point, I really did enjoy that match, which is good. It's nice to see a Bryan Danielson match again that I enjoy because, boy, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I liked his stuff. AJ I always love. But that was cool. I liked it.
When you think about the logic of some of the commentary, like they didn't seem the least bit surprised to see him. So I was like, maybe he's already been back on SmackDown.
It could
and I just didn't be surprised by this, but I was like, it just didn't make much sense to me. So you got that happened, and then there was Finn and Brock did their stuff they did.
Finn and Brock I really enjoyed until the afters, because I thought it was a really kind of clever way to just have your typical Brock Lesnar squash match like you always do, but no Suplex City, no F5s. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, man. He squashes his nuts on the table and you can't do that stuff. And then you put him over and let him win anyway, which is fine. It's pretty much what they were going to do. And I'm thinking it's kind of the kind of a Becky, dadgummit. See, she really is, I think about her too much. Sasha and Ronda. Yeah. Where, okay, well, if you want to have the rematch, you can do the Iron Woman match, and it's most submissions wins and all that. And if you want to do the rematch, you can have like Beast versus Demon, and then that makes sense as to why he was just human Finn. But then you jump back in and do all the F5s and stuff, and maybe that's the point there, is to get that heat back up to where Finn is still like, I still want to beat you up, fella. Yeah, you were too rough there at the end of the match there, fella. So, and all that stuff totally works. I'm good with all that. If you basically want to turn
only beat Finn in my red pants.
If you want to turn
white boots.
Elimination Chamber into the backlash of Royal Rumble, why not? But that was pretty good. That match was cool. I really did like. I liked the idea of having a Lesnar match that wasn't just Suplex Cities and F5. Yeah. So at least the match wasn't. At least that was cool. I mean, I don't know. It was cool. It was okay, man. It's always nice to see Finn do his thing because he's good.
It was nice to have, it was one of those matches where I didn't. There are times with some of the Daniel Bryan matches of recently, it's kind of like, it gets to the point where you're like, when's this going to be over?
Oh, Bryan Danielson, I have not enjoyed in years, so I understand.
But I mean, that's the best example I can think of as right now. But it was one of those, I didn't get that feeling from this, and I felt like it was just the right amount of butt whooping.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed the crap out of that. It was nice too, because it's been a minute. But I mean, to be a jerk about it, because this is what I think. The last Bryan Danielson match I saw was him and Miz, and the next time I see a Miz match I enjoy, I was going to say it'd be the first time, but that's not true. He and Ziggler had some really good back and forth stuff. They really did, but it's because that's the only person you can put him in the ring with where you're going to get an acceptable bump count, because Ziggler will bump for this table if we wanted him to. Yeah. And I like Dolph. I don't mean to trash him, because I understand he is completely out. And I'm looking forward to that, actually. I'm hoping that he will go and hook up with his bud. But at the same time, I think AEW is definitely a possibility. I just don't necessarily know if it's the foregone conclusion, because I think that I think he'd like to go to Japan too, just because. I mean, if you're feeling that and you're cool with relocating, he could do some great stuff over there. On the record of Japanese guys, apparently Matt Sydal, Evan Bourne, whatever you want to call him, is back on the WWE radar, and I'm like, man, them hiring Matt Riddle really does mean smoke him if you got him, doesn't it? I just don't care anymore.
It's not what it used to be over here.
It's nice. I think that's good, because Vince being the weed police is a very bad idea. There's too much talent, and you're not the only game in town anymore. Just please, there's a more important crap to keep your guard up for.
Yeah.
But good for them.
So you had the men's Rumble match to close the show, and I was right surprised. I was expecting Brock and Finn to go on last, and they didn't. So that was a surprise. But you know, there was still a few things in that match that was kind of like, huh? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is Nia coming out. It was like, I don't know what that's going to lead to. It's interested to see, but it's don't understand why. You know, it's the crowd gasp when Randy Orton hits her with an RKO, but Dolph Ziggler and Rey Mysterio both just kicked her in the face.
Yeah, that was my thing. Was like we had talked about the notion of a woman getting in the men's Royal Rumble. And I thought the best scenario would be to, instead of have Nia Jax beat up R-Truth, have R-Truth get shanghaied in the backstage area, and then have numbers 28 and 29 of the people left over eliminate each other at the same time, like he was talking about with the tie. And then hit number 30, and Becky Lynch comes out, and you end the show with her at the top of the ramp as the Royal Rumble champion, because everybody else is eliminated, so 30's got to be the winner. And they wanted to go a different direction, so they wanted to go. And that was the whole point, was like, well, if you have this mixed match challenge thing where you genuinely do not want physical altercations between men and women, I understand. That's the way to get around that. But that, in my opinion, and this is blunt, but I don't give a damn, it's the truth. Nia's fat. She's not attractive. She's not a girl. They don't mind. They don't mind. You would never have Alexa Bliss get kicked in the face. And my problem with Orton hitting the RKO is the RKO is the cheesiest move in wrestling, and it is literally all he does. So when he lines up for it, that was what my commentary about, well, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be this guy. But that was my whole point, was that it didn't matter that it was Nia Jax. Randy could RKO anybody and people would forgive him, because his career has been, Randy can do whatever he wants to do, and he just gets away with it because the guy is lazy, the guy has absolutely no personality, and people still scream and lose their minds. And I could not tell you why, because if you look up the word charisma, he's the complete opposite of that. But people just believe, because they've been told for 2 decades now that, no, he's second generation, he's third generation, oh my God, Randy Orton. It's like, how many good matches has he ever had? And that's the answer you always get too. But yeah, as far as like Ray and Dolph, and I mean, it's cool. It's all gravy, man. But that's the point, is like we were saying, man, they want to put that.
John Layfield was like creaming himself, like, oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They want to get all that. I was telling Jared during the show, and this will be a short version of this, man. But I cannot understand why people just constantly regale and get so frustrated about companies getting too political. Oh, they're too political. WWE is a right-wing wet dream. They're politics all the time, down to the point that they've got the MRA slogan of, well, if a woman's going to put herself in a man's place. That was literally commentary during that. Well, hey, Nia Jax beat up R-Truth, so hey, all bets are off, you know? So what you're telling me then is the next time one of the valets steps up and slaps a dude, she gonna wind up in the front row. Oh, wait a second. No. But that stuff, that's what irks me about it, is make a rule or don't make a rule. But Nia's tough. She's a big, strong girl. Big, strong girl means fat. That's what you're saying. And because she's not fat and you don't want to jump in the sack with her, well, the same rules don't apply. And it's funny when Randy RKOs her. And obviously, it's a personal thing for me, because I hate Randy Orton so much, because I have had this same question since the first time I saw him work. What am I missing? And I've asked everybody. I talked to Cody Rhodes about it, because Cody just, oh my God, you talk about like, that's his boyfriend. He was so personally hurt when I asked him, man, I need your help, man. What's the deal with Randy? Randy Orton's a great wrestler. I'm like, I'm asking you to tell me why. I didn't ask you if he was. I asked you, why do you think he is? And that was that. And that's everybody. I've never talked to anybody saying, you're crazy if you don't like Randy Orton. Well, I must be crazy then, because I'm here to tell you, the guy sucks. But anyway, that's the whole deal about, well, but Ray and Dolph did it first. Yeah, because she's Nia Jax. You can beat the crap out of her. Nobody cares. And it sucks. But at the same time, I don't know. I guess we just needed another little curveball there, man. But it's a little, I don't know. Like we said, the idea of having a woman join the Royal Rumble at number 30, That works, but except that you did it in both of them. And it wasn't 30th, but Becky joining after the fact. And I don't know, it was the same thing with...
It was odd, the timing of it, but, you know, it was one of those kind of moments where you're like, and I don't think anybody was just like ready for R-Truth to get in there and give them what for.
Well, yes.
So why not do it with him?
It's the way of adding the surprise back to it. Because he was talking about, we were discussing the mixed pack, giving you the 30th entrant, which is a great idea as far as spoils for that, because it's equal on both sides and you each have a Royal Rumble. But what the man was saying, and he's right, is like, I don't think it'll last very long because you lose the surprise element of who's 30.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. So if you're trying to find a way to add that curveball back into it, it's like, oh, okay.
I wanted to be disappointed by R-Truth naturally.
Yeah, seriously.
Know it's coming.
I didn't want to know it was coming. I don't want to know I was going to be saddled with R-Truth. I wanted everybody in the arena sitting there thinking, it's got to be Kenny Omega. People over here, what's up? That's what we wanted. That's what we were hoping for. I wanted to be disappointed by R-Truth organically.
Yeah. I want to know that I have no choice but to sit through this bull.
Once they hit 29, it's like, oh, you know it's coming out next.
We were doing that too, because it got to like 27.
Yeah.
Strowman comes out. It's like, well, you know, Randy hasn't out there yet. You know, R-Truth is 30, so it's like, who else is there?
Yeah, man.
And I think it was like Mysterio or somebody.
That sounds right, something like that.
Something along those lines.
Ray's got one of those sweetheart deals where post 25, which is like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad the result I'm cool with. I think that's totally okay. If we want Rollins to be the guy that slays the king or slays the beast or slays the demon or slays the whatever, that's cool. I'm good with that. And I know that the other match would be much better if we were going to do Bryan Danielson, and I mean, I get it, but from what I understand, all of this, Miz just wants his daddy to be proud of him, and he can be proud of him now because he's won the tag team titles with Shane McMahon. I've heard that the whole plan is babyface Miz versus heel Bryan Danielson, and boy howdy, if you want a curtain jerker for the title to open WrestleMania, have at it. Get that junk out of the way. And the reason
I mean, I've heard the push for that, but the second that they started doing the Shane McMahon Miz thing, it still seems kind of, that's a long way to go back around to get to that match.
You're going to wrap up
still not going to care.
You're going to wrap up a bunch of junk here, aren't you? But I was telling Jared, it's my opinion that all of this crap with Shane McMahon has just been a very cheap way and a cheap excuse to shoehorn a McMahon into the Miz reality show. I think that's what all this ringside stuff with Daddy, I think that's what all this junk is, and next season on Miz and Mr. or whatever the hell the show's called, that's where I think all that's going, because of all the ridiculous things I could think of, that one made the most sense, because nothing else about it makes any sense at all. So I'm wondering, what I mean is, if we're going to wrap this crap up as quickly as we did Strowman and the little kid, and they'll lose the titles tomorrow or something like that, or Tuesday, and then we can get our way back around. But I'm with you. I mean, I know we got time between now and then, but
that's still
ain't got that much time.
Yeah,
you need to wrap this stuff up real quick. I agree, because that's the whole thing. That's the problem that I have with the tag division in WWE, is those belts mean nothing. They haven't meant anything forever. And that's why I still want I still wish the Revival had shown up at the NXT show. I would have loved that, because I want the Revival to show up at NXT, beat the crap out of everybody, and basically work the angle of like, well, you guys might have heard we asked for our release, and yeah, it's true. And you might have heard we were denied our release, and that's true as well. So we're under contract, and we got to show up and work in WWE. So while we're doing that, we're going to work in the only tag division in this company that means anything, and we are going to dismantle it. Yeah. We're going to take the titles that we made famous back, and then we're walking out the door with them. And wherever we wind up next, they'll wind up in the trash can. And I think that's a great angle. I think that's a super cool idea, especially if I know that Undisputed Era is going to be around. That's fine. But War Machine's War Machine, so I'm getting off because we need to discuss that show too. Sorry, anyway, man. But that's what I would love it if they did that, because that would be too damn cool.
Yeah, that was yet again show of the weekend is TakeOver.
Oh, absolutely.
The one that if I had to go out there. That's the one I want to be.
I honestly, I don't know how many people there are that don't feel that way. And maybe it's just the people that I talk to. It might just be the old echo chamber of talking to people that actually enjoy wrestling. But I don't know very many people anymore that are like, you know, that TakeOver show was better than the main roster show.
Yeah, it's a shock.
Can't remember the last time that wasn't the case, and I think most people watch TakeOver expecting to enjoy it. But I mean, and partially it might just be the connection. I know what we talk about. The WWE roster is amazing, but the people that I like in NXT, I got way more connection with. I love Becky Lynch to pieces, but I would watch War Machine read the phone book. Because I love those guys. War Raiders, I say it wrong every darn time, man. Mm-hmm. Anyway, speaking of which, that's who kicked off the old TakeOver show. And we were discussing that pretty much the contest, I just said it's not really a contest, but let's pretend for a moment that there was anybody out there that was watching TakeOver and watching the Royal Rumble, and they're not like me, they were actually going to give it a fair shot to see which one they like better. The second the show begins and War Raiders have that entrance, it's like, well, this is over. Well, the contest is just absolutely over.
I don't think we need to see anymore.
Because that was freaking awesome, man. It was like, holy crap, this is great.
I'm scared.
Yeah, for real, I'm worried. My pants are damp with urine.
Yes.
I have urinated in my pants because War Raiders, that frightened me. They frightened me. Oh, there comes the duty.
No.
No, not this again. But I loved that match. I was excited they started with it. I don't know. I need to go back and watch more takeovers. I don't know if it's Trips' tradition, but the ones I've seen it is. Yeah. Oh, you always start with that tag title match, which of course I love because it means you're basically coming right up the chute with what I'm here for. Yeah. Fantastic match. It was that was my favorite one all night. But boy howdy was it not due to lack of competition, because man, it was just like, ooh, I got to think about this.
Yeah, man. I think Ricochet Gargano was my favorite.
Absolutely incredible.
But at the same time, we're talking about the whole show altogether. It's kind of the same deal where the peeling the mat off the floor and then doing it again in the main event. Like, see, just don't do that. Just go do something else. But that's a little nitpick.
Yeah,
thing.
I didn't. It was kind of the thing like I was talking about, where in real time I enjoyed the Lesnar, the lack of F5s and suplexes. Then you messed it up. Mm-hmm. And in real time, I wasn't wild about it. But it was like, okay, we're just trying to reestablish the link between him and Johnny. Yeah. Well, then you bring him out at the end with them at the top of the ramp, and then I was right back where you were. Well, that was dumb then. You didn't. If you're going to do this, you didn't have to do that other thing. Yeah. But but that's totally. I think my thing is, my favorite match was the tag match. I think that Gargano and Ricochet was the best one. Yeah. It was unbelievable how much I enjoyed that. And we talked about it a little earlier. We'll talk about it now. Tommaso Ciampa is fantastic. I'm happy that he's as over as he is. I'm glad people like him, and he's a really good worker too, and very smart. One of my favorite things about watching that guy work is he will just do that literal, methodical, oh, your ankle's hurt? Work on it. Work on it. And I love that because he'll just do stuff where he goes in the corner and stomps on a guy just once, and then walks around and does the heel thing and then comes back. Mm-hmm. Everything people slob Randy Orton for, this guy actually does it. You don't have to do. He's got crazy high impact offense, and he works that in there too, and it's great how he does it. But man, when he just goes on the hunt and he does that Anderson Blanchard pick a body part and beat it up, he's so interesting watching him do that stuff, and I loved it. I thought that was really cool too. About the only thing I wasn't wild about. And I guess I should be more clear. Riddle and Ono was fine. I'm not a huge Matt Riddle guy. We were discussing that. What the heck were we saying about that one?
I just think the biggest problem with that one is if you're going to do that, then Ono should have went.
That's it. That's totally what it was, and I agree completely. I'm just not sure about going 0-3. Yeah, that was totally it.
I mean, that's, if I could change something, then I would change that, but. With the way a lot of the matches ended, just like any takeover, well, all takeovers for the Rumble, anybody that loses, like, oh, they're going to be in the Rumble. They're going to be in the Rumble. And we're half right.
The two that we had pegged were
I got Alistair Wright, and then I thought that Ricochet would be in it, but ended up Gargano, who won, was in it.
Well, the other two that we got were Dunn and Ripley.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were discussing, well, since they were in town for the show, they'll be there.
I honestly thought that Storm would have been in it too.
Could have gotten one of the women's spots. I could see that. There was something. What the heck's that girl's name? To Candace. What was her name? The one that was out there wrestling against. For Pete's sake, man, they
Candice LeRae.
Yeah, they kept talking about the NXT rivalry and how they were renewing that. I cannot believe I forgot who that was now, but it's because I don't watch NXT every week, so it was new to me. Yeah. But when they were explaining, and I despise the announcer staff for WWE, so I want to take this opportunity to like really put them over because this was very good. When you jump in and give that backstory that they're picking up where they left off, that's awesome for a couple of reasons. One, you're giving somebody
a little bit more of a reminder.
Seriously, I would not have known anything. But what I think is cool about it is that for myself, I didn't know it, but there's somebody watching somewhere that didn't need that reminder, and for them, that's cool. And I like that inside joke stuff. I like that inside track. So see, the dividing line between the inside joke is if you get it, you love it, and if you don't, oh, it's stupid. It's that indie smart stuff. That's the way most people look at it. I myself, as a Frasier fan, love half the jokes on that show. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but it's funny, and that's part of the reason is that you know somebody somewhere is busting a gut over that. So that lip service and that inside baseball stuff for the people that knew those two were in a feud, that was great for them. So that was real cool. I'm just glad they did that because I don't like that NXT has been treated like everything else. Well, if you didn't do it here, it doesn't count. And they do that with NXT too. It's like these guys don't know each other. And it's like, nah, man, this is cool. It's way cool to play that up. Yeah. But my guy to be in that wasn't in was I wanted Adam Cole to be in there. I was hoping Adam Cole would be Iron Man, but there really wasn't an Iron Man today. Not really, not that I remember anyway. But it's all good. I was just hoping that with getting the night off, he'd be in there and do the Shawn Michaels thing because we talked about how you have a Shawn Michaels guy, and I just think sometimes they give it to the wrong person because just because you're out there doesn't mean you should be in there forever. Michaels is entertaining. When he does all that survival crap, he was always entertaining with it. So you need someone that can do that. Ziggler at one time could have been that guy. Was that guy. Anyway, I don't know why I got back on Dolph, man. I like that kid, but I'm just done with him. I think WWE's done with him. Most of the fans I know despise him anymore. And it's like, this guy needs a new beginning. Get him out of here, man. Yeah. But, oh, shoot, there was something else in the Rumble that I wanted to discuss. There were two things that just drove me nuts. Baron Corbin eliminating Johnny Gargano was absolutely ridiculous. That's a terrible decision.
I hit Aleister Black.
Oh, that's who it was. That's who it was, Aleister Black. Yeah. That's who I knew he'd eliminated somebody that he shouldn't have.
Give the crowd more reason to hate this dude.
Yeah, that was a big mistake, man. But he's the new... Well, if people boo him, he's the heel. They're supposed to boo him. The heel is not the guy that the crowd boos. Whether you think that or not, they're not. Because very few people get booed anymore unless they're boring. Being boring doesn't make you a heel. The guy that is the heel is the one they pay to watch get beat up. It's why I use it as Exhibit A whenever I talk about, well, Braun Strowman's really disappointing these days. All you cared about was watching Roman Reigns get beat up. That's all you cared about. Roman Reigns used to be a heel. No, you need him to be cool. You want him to be cool. If heel is your word for cool, all right. Heel's the guy that you pay to see get beat up. And people loved watching Braun Strowman beat up Roman Reigns. So the whole, well, Roman technically already is a heel if the people are booing. He was a heel, but you just, again, people wanted to see him get beat up. Now they don't. Well, I wonder if they'll give us the Roman Reigns heel turn when he comes back. Are you out of your mind? Come on. Come on. Roman's going to be Roman when he comes back. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, I got way, way distracted there. But it's Aleister Black. The two eliminations that drove me nuts were Mustafa Ali eliminating Joe. And it's not because Mustafa Ali eliminated Joe. I get it. They've got a storyline going on. That makes sense. It's all good. But of all the times they have done the Thunder and Lightning pairing of some giant tank with a cruiserweight, this is the one time you want the cruiser to get over. Are you kidding me? It's like, man, if that wasn't Samoa Joe and you weren't flicking the kid off because he's got man boobies. Like I said, hey, man, Vince hates fat folks, man. There's no doubt about that because when it's Samoa Joe, you can make him look bad as often as you want to, and he's just that's what he's there for. When it's Nia Jax, you can have her get beat up by 3 dudes, and it's okay. It was kind of funny because RKO out of nowhere. It's like, wasn't really out of nowhere. He's sitting there cold for 20 minutes waiting for Ray to get his issue in.
Have they ever really been out of nowhere?
No, my God, no. I hate that so much. I just can't tell you. But also the
RKO, get it over with.
yeah, seriously, man, it's like, all right, gotta get this in. But my other huge thing about that move, and the reason I dislike it so much, is the fact that Carl Anderson's not allowed to do it drives me nuts, because that guy knows how to throw one. It looks awesome. If you want to go back and look at old footage on YouTube of the gun stun, go check it out because it looks amazing. And then the other one is the Young Bucks were wrestling the Guerrillas of Destiny a few months back, I think. It was a hot minute ago, man. But that's the best one. No one will ever top that one ever, because Matt's got Tonga Loa up in the little tombstone, and Nick's going for the the springboard in to do the Meltzer driver. So he comes off the rope and gets flipped over, man, and right when his head comes around, man, Tama Tonga comes out from underneath the ring and up under, and just it was incredible, man. The timing on it was fantastic. The camera work was awesome. It retired the move. Yeah. And I think my favorite Randy one ever, I know the Seth Rollins one gets a lot of love, but I don't like that. That one's kind of goofy looking to me. It's just such a special effect. I didn't really care for it. But Cesaro off the ladder was wonderful. That's probably my favorite one of his of all time. Like, that was cool. I like that.
Did he catch Evan Bourne with one out of the 350?
Somebody literally brought that up as far as like why they should re-sign him. Yeah. So he took that crazy RKO from Randy. It's like, yeah, it's the only thing he's ever done. You're right. That's it.
That was it.
That was it. A bunch of.
The only reason they do it.
The only reason they do it. And a bunch of dang old marijuana. But yeah, Rollins winning is cool. I'm thrilled that Strowman did not win, because I'm like, surely to God they're not doing Strowman Lesnar again, are they? Yeah. They wouldn't do it again, so thank goodness we're not doing that. But anyway, like we were saying, man, you're right. Miz to Bryan Danielson seems like a dead sprint to get back there in time. So, I mean, if you want to do Rollins versus Danielson, that's awesome. And if you want to do Rollins against, it doesn't matter. Just whoever you book Lesnar with, for the love of God, I mean, how many more times can people put up with this junk,
I just think the Lesnar-Rollins connection, you already have a connection there. You'd have to work way too hard to get one with
going the other side.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm good with that, man. I think that's totally cool.
I think that's what they'll do.
I can dig it, man. Now, what if the Demon just disappears and then pops back up and pisses Lesnar off enough to make that a 3-way?
He does the run in of that.
That might not work. Simply because I don't want all the title matches to have multiples, and the women need it. You can't, I don't think that. I mean, I think that Becky versus Ronda would be fine, but
I think that it's Becky winning the Rumble. I think they're going to do the 2004 Rumble, which we can't talk about. Fix where it's like, well, we'll have the contract signing, and she'll get knocked out, and Charlotte's name will end up on the contract, and it'll be a 3-way anyway.
Yeah.
So that will fix that way, and then do whatever you want to with the Women's Elimination Chamber if they do one this year. Who knows?
I keep forgetting that commercial when it says 2 matches. I keep thinking that it's one of each, but you're right. What they're promoting is the Elimination Chamber and the Women's Tag Match. I keep forgetting that.
But I think that's how you get around that.
I think that's a good idea, and it'll be interesting to see it from the HBK side of things, because I was furious. I was so excited about Benoit and Triple H that when Shawn Michaels got shoehorned in there, I was with Seattle, because they booed the bejesus out of it. It wasn't Seattle, I'm sorry, but
wherever it was.
Yeah, wherever 20 was at, I was with them, because
20 was New York. It's the contract signing when it happened.
Oh no, I mean the actual match itself. So you got it with New York, man, because they booed the bejeepers out of that guy every chance they got, and he had his little John Cena in-ring meltdown. He couldn't stand it, and then that's the reason that when he did the little bump spot with he just gigged the bejesus out of himself to try and be Muta all of a sudden. It's like they're not pulling for you, buddy. They don't care.
So, got tons of stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be.
It doesn't sound like it.
It's gonna be.
I'm trying
cool.
to build it that way.
It's gonna be cool, man. Decent show. NXT show was fantastic. Really, really loved it.
Do yourself a favor and push play on that
It's so good, man.
next time you're in front of the network.
Yeah, man.
Man, that's what's up.
Have a good one, y'all. Thank you for watching.
Ah.